And now bringing you that hard, hitting fight analysis, submitting you into paralysis. Josh Thompson head kicking leg to dome, and Big John McCarthy saying let's get it on.
UFC on ABC 9 is coming this weekend, and we got the middleweights making their main event. It's going to be happening this weekend. Can't wait. This is going to be a great fight. You have a lot at stake right now with RDR headlining against Robert Whittaker. Big jump up in competition, moving RDR in the top rankings. So he's already in that like number 11 spot, I believe, somewhere around there, number 11, number 12. This would be a huge jump all the way up to, I believe, number 4, number 5 against Robert Whittaker. Huge step up in competition for him. And also, we have some news to talk about. Ben Askren hits home. That's going to be amazing. I'm glad he's on his way. And obviously, his lovely wife is making sure he gets there safely. And that was great news, I think, for a lot of the MMA community to see. And him giving his response, we'll talk a little bit about that. And obviously, I think for this show, we're going to have some rankings. There's a couple little mixes up in the rankings, and Pitbull makes the rankings, and Pico trying to get into the rankings, but his fight has been delayed once again. So I guess there's lots to talk about. No John tonight. He's having some internet problems in Arizona. That's why we don't drive through Arizona, really. We try to avoid that area altogether. But it's beautiful out there. But look, I got to be honest, man, I'm going to miss Big John tonight. But we're going to talk about this fight card, and then we'll talk about some news, then we'll talk a little bit about the rankings, and we'll have some fun. I've got my boy right here, man. Podcast Dave's me holding it down for me, helping me on the backside, making sure that everyone gets done right. All right. So, Dave, why don't you jump on camera for me a little bit so we can see that beautiful face? And let's talk a little bit about this card.
Card first. So you want to start with Topuria, the 155 situation after Dustin retires, Max hops in, Islam's still there. You want to do that first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Why don't you walk me through what the scenario is?
All right. So Topuria, first of all, Max obviously gets the win over Dustin this past weekend. Dustin falls off the rankings because he's retired now. Max makes his way into 55 rankings, moves up to number 4 there, as you'll be able to see right here. Yeah. They still have Islam as number 1. Obviously, he's fighting GDM next for the 170 belt. So just interesting state of affairs there. Justin falls down one at number 5. You know, who realistically, should get that title shot. You know, Sorokin's making his case as well. Gaethje's making his case. He retires if he doesn't get it. Where's your head at on this? And Islam's still in there. Does he belong in there still? You think he's coming back down? Maybe you got some insider scoop there.
Yeah, so the inside scoop on the Islam situation, I think money's going to talk at the end of the day. I know that, Islam, Habib, and that whole crew doesn't care about the money, but it's really going to come down to will Topuria go up in weight if he defends the title one time? Islam, he's got to actually win the welterweight title for this to even be a conversation. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. There's going to be a lot in front of him with JDM. JDM is amazing. Always overlooked. And everyone continues to overlook him just right now. And I think to think that Islam just going to walk in there and walk through him is absurd. I've had this conversation with Habib through text. Him and I were texting back and forth. And he legit goes, look, this is going to be Islam's toughest fight to date. The physical size, his ability to box, his ability to stop takedowns, all of those things are a threat to Islam and what he does best. And so the physical side is going to be something I think people are underestimating. JDM's not a small welterweight. People keep saying like, oh, he's going to, Islam's going to be just as big. He's not going to be just as big. He's got a big body frame, but to put on that type of muscle, Islam's shoulders are not as wide. His body frame is not physically as big. Now, I do think that Islam is a big lightweight, a huge lightweight, but we're talking a big jump from 55 to 70 is the 15-pound jump. It's not the same as jumping 25 to 35, 35 to 45, and 45 up to 55. So I've always said that those fighters that can do that, Ilia Topuria being one, Volkanovski had some success. Max having success right now, coming back up to 55. I think he found his home now at 55. My take on this whole situation is let's not get ahead of ourselves. Ilia Topuria is going to have to defend his title probably at least once. I think that JDM is going to give Islam an extremely tough fight. It's going to be a really good fight. It's going to be a tough fight. Obviously, I'm going to go towards my boy because y'all know if you listen to this podcast, I'm biased as hell. And I'm going to say it. No matter what, I believe Islam's got the tools and the weapons to beat JDM. It is going to be a tough fight, though. How I look at this whole thing playing out in the 155-pound division, It really comes down to Arman Sarukian shit the bed when he didn't make weight. He's really trying to get back into the good graces of the UFC. I think the weight cut was enough. I think so many people are clamoring for him to fight the actual true number one contender to kind of like validate Ilia Topuria. I was under the assumption and I wasn't an assumption. I was under the take that I didn't think that Ilia was like, oh, he's good, but beating Volk off the head kick knockout loss, of Volkanovski, to me, it was like it kind of hindered like what I thought of him, his success. And then he comes off and he beats Max after Max was at 55, just beat beat Justin Gaethje, the number one guy, comes down and has to cut the weight to get back down to 45. Doing that to your body does a lot. And I think it affected his chin. So I kind of didn't give Ilia Topuria the credit he deserved. I gave him a lot of credit fighting not Max, but Charles Oliveira, because Charles, he's been down, he's been up. It doesn't matter if he's on a one fight win streak, whatever it was. Charles Oliveira's been through it all. He's fought the best guys. He's a well-seasoned veteran. He can fight on the ground. He can fight on the feet. He can wrestle. He can do it all. He can kickbox. He's tall, long, lanky, all those things. He's a big body frame for a lightweight. And so I gave Topuria a lot of credit when he beat him, and the way that he beat him was extremely impressive. That being said, it comes down to the UFC. The UFC is going to have to make the decision. Do you want people to stop doubting Ilia Topuria? Then you give him the number one contender and a wrestler. Everyone said, oh, you've given him Volkanovski, who knows how to wrestle a little, but he's not. It's Australian wrestle. It's not the same as like Dagestan wrestle, American wrestle. It's just not the same. And so does he know how to wrestle, or is he just a really good rugby tackler? And he's got striking, he's got speed, all those things, but he was coming off the head kick knockout. Loss. And then the Max situation, mainly striking, will not really shoot takedown. So that puts him right into Topuria's world. Charles Oliveira tried to get the takedown, didn't get the takedown. There was a little bit of, back and forth. And then on the feet, Charles got clipped. A lot of people will say, well, Charles is a little chinny, kind of like in that area of like Eddie Alvarez, how he was. He gets a little chinny, gets up and keeps fighting. I look at it, though, is that I think that they're going to probably end up matching him against Arman Sarukian. He made the weight the last time as a backup. That put him probably back in the good graces of the UFC. And I think Justin Gaethje is going to probably have to wait. And I think what they're going to do with Max Holloway is they're going to have him fight Dan Hooker. Dan's being right there at the top. Dan's done everything he possibly can to get back and fight as often as he can. He's given him some of the best fights. And if you're going to match somebody up for the BMF title and against Max Holloway, it would be Dan Hooker. Like that to me is the fight to make. In terms of fans, you could have that headline a card. I mean, it potentially could be a pay-per-view headline, or it could be a co-main, on another kind of a weaker, I guess, main event. You could put that fight as the co-main, and it would help back it up to sell the pay-per-view. So there's a lot of ways that they can go. I think they go Arman Sarukian to get rid of the doubters of Ilia Topuria not fighting wrestlers, and someone that will stand and give Arman Sarukian his chance. I think Justin Gaethje's not going to have to fight again. He's probably just going to have to sit. He's going to have to sit a little bit until Ilya's ready to fight against Arman and them fight. And then I think Gaethje fights the winner of that. I think Max fights Dan Hooker, for the BMF title, and you can headline that, or they can have that as the backup co-main event on a little bit weaker of a card. That's how I'd see that 155-pound division shaking out at the moment. And let's not even get into the Islam JDM stuff, because I think that whole thing needs to settle itself. They have to fight. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. I don't want to, you don't want to get too much into it. There was a lot of times where fighters are like, people would say, well, what happens if you have to fight your friend? What happens if you have to fight them? Well, we all have to win to get to there. And so in that situation, I think that's kind of where we're at in that position, I think, with those fighters. What do you think? Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of where I'm at. I think the Ilia Topuria fight is he can do whatever he wants, and he's going to always be the number one guy at the lightweight division. But he's going to have guys, those two guys, Justin Gaethje and Arman Sarukian, right now they're battling for first place. I mean, Justin Gaethje is like the Dustin Poirier guy, like where he's always brought the action. The UFC loves him. They want to do him a solid. Where I feel like Justin messed up a little bit is the way he started talking about the whole, like, hey, I'm going to fight this fight or retire. The UFC doesn't want to hear that. That's going to always be them. They're going to say, like, you start talking about retirement, you're putting us, why would we want to give you a title fight if you're going to retire? And so there's that feeling of you're trying to back us up into a corner and we're not going to be bullied around by anybody. So maybe they took it that way, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I mean, that's kind of how that's how I read it when Dana was talking about it. But I like the Armand fight because it gets rid of all the naysayers saying that Ilia Topuria has kind of had that Conor McGregor kind of pathway to a title, and then even at the lightweight division, fighting a guy who, you know, was, I guess you'd say, he's been, you know, he's had a rough go the last couple fights. You know, he's getting a little chinny, he's getting a little bit older. He's not the same fighter he was. That's what a lot of people are saying. But Charles is always dangerous. I actually didn't give Ilia as much credit as he deserved until the Charles fight, because Charles can grapple. Charles, you know, can wrestle. You saw him take down Michael Chandler several times, take and control him. And Chandler and Topuria are built very similar in terms of height. They're both what, 5'2", 5'3", you know, and just muscular and big power and that type of thing. So I thought Charles had a really good chance of beating Ilia Topuria if he could get him down. He just never could get him down. That was the difference, I believe, in that. So I think you're going to see Armand Sarukian get the nod. Justin Gaethje can either take a fight in the meantime, or he can wait patiently for the winner, and then let the dust settle and see what happens, you know, with the JDM and the Islam fight.
I'm just working on something in the background while I'm talking to you here. But I was just gonna say, so when you look at the level of competition, for like Max versus Armin, right? And you know, they've got Armin, essentially take Islam out, right? You've got Armin right there. Do you not think that Max should be higher in these ranks? I would almost make the case that Islam should not be in there if he's fighting for the 170 belt, and Max should be number. I mean, I don't know why Max wouldn't be number 1 in there when he just beat Dustin. He beat Justin. I know Justin's number 5. He, you know, unless you like matched him up against Armin or Charles, like, I would almost make the case that he should be in there. That Max should be, like, you know, right up there. But so what do you think of a scenario like that?
Yeah, I would make the case as well. I mean, he did beat Justin, so he's ranked just slightly ahead of Justin. He just beat Dustin as well. The Charles Oliveira situation, I think the reason why they have him there is that Charles beat Dustin and Charles beat Justin. So that kind of puts Max kind of right where he should be. You know, he hasn't beat Charles Oliveira. I could see them matching Charles Oliveira up against Max Holloway. And Charles has made it pretty clear that he would like to fight as soon as possible. He would like to fight sometime in November or December. So that just kind of figure out where Max is at. But do you put that as the BMF title? That's kind of the BMF title kind of puts it in a weird position. Like, you want to see the BMF title, to me, is, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Charles Oliveira whatsoever. But the BMF title is someone that just stands in front of you and trades, takes big shots, and delivers big shots back. Max is the epitome of that. So is Dustin. So is Justin. And that's why you've seen those guys fight for that title. And I think the Dan Hooker fight is the fight that represents that the most. You know, there's not many guys that will stand in front of you and trade, and Dan Hooker's that guy.
Do you think, though, BMF should really be preserved, though, for like special occasions? It's almost like, I don't think, in my opinion, and I actually heard Ariel Helwani say something about this the other day as well, where he doesn't like the BMF title. I'm a gimmick guy, so
He's never been a bad motherfucker. That's why.
I do like the gimmick title, though, but I do think, like you say, I mean, it's a once a year belt. Like, it's not like a belt that you. So Charles and Max, like, you know, I don't know if I'd be calling that the BMF title fight.
I think because it's attached to Max, though, it's going to be hard to not say, like, well, it should have been on the line. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he beat him. He was the BMF title. Like, he was the champ. So I think if you're going to have him fight, you have to have him fight Dan Hooker, because Dan Hooker's the epitome of a bad motherfucker. And I'm not saying that Charles is not. I'm just saying that
then you're having Max.
Go ahead.
Then you're having Max fight down after the win. I don't know. Like,
it happens all the time. Dustin had to fight Saint Denis. You know, Gilbert Burns had to fight down too.
Did he fight him off the win or fight him off the loss? Did Dustin fight Denis off? He fought him off a loss. He fought him off a loss to Justin.
Oh yeah, but that's way, he was down like number 12 or something, I believe.
But then does that come down
to fighting one? He's fighting one guy, 2 guys down.
Does that come down to your whole thing of like who's available?
I mean, it probably does, depending on who's available, who's getting married, who's not getting married, who's injured, who's not injured. I guess for me, I look at it this way too, that Dan Hooker, his body, I don't know how much longer is going to hold up. He's had a lot of serious injuries. You know, his hands have been broken, his arms have been broken. Like you want to try to get as much out of him as possible. I'm not sure if he'll ever be champion, but I want to get those best fights and the best matchups for him. I don't want to see him get taken down and submitted. I don't want to see him get controlled. I want to see him stand and get trades. And the guys you're going to do that with is maybe like a Charles Oliveira, who may try to take him down, or a Max Holloway. Those are the best fights you're going to get out of it. You can maybe even see a Justin Gaethje fight, but Justin doesn't sound like he wants to fight anyone except for the title. So I don't know where you put him outside of that. Islam should not be there. Islam's, I think, done at 170. I think he's going to stay at 170, win or lose. I don't see him coming back down to 155. He's putting the weight on properly. He's been lifting every day. He's been making sure he's getting his running in. Like he's doing all the things necessary to make sure he's put the weight on properly to go up to 170. So I don't think he's going to come back down. Why take that chance of, affecting your chin and your conditioning, your cardio going into rounds 4 and 5 into championship rounds against someone who is a tough fight? Doesn't make any sense. I would avoid going back down. I think he's going to avoid going back down. His new home is going to be at 170.
So then, let me ask you this: Do you think a fight with Arman and Ilya right now? Not do you? How do you think a fight with Ilya and Arman right now, with Ilya on the run he's on? Do you think Arman not has a chance, because everybody's got a chance, right? But do you think that? How do you think Arman holds up in that fight? And do you think Ilya walks through him, or do you, if the UFC's, if you're Dana White right now, right? If you're the matchmakers, you're sitting in the room, you're like, all right, Ilya walks through him, so let's just give him the fight so we can get him out of the way and then get on it. No, okay.
He does not walk through Arman. What I think is, it's going to come down to the first 2 rounds for Arman. He's going to have to wrestle a lot. He's going to have to really take him to deep waters. He's going to have to try to get him out of there before the first 3 rounds. We saw Arman get tired against Charles Oliveira. And so it's just the ability to, to wrestle, to stop takedowns, to work off the back. I don't know how Ilya is off of his back. But I do know this is that Arman Tsarukyan, he can friggin' wrestle. He can wrestle. I believe he can wrestle better than Ilia Topuria. But what's going to happen is, does he put so much pressure on himself to get those takedowns? By round 4 and 5, can he still wrestle at the level that he needs to without getting clipped and knocked out? I honestly believe by rounds 3, you're gonna be able to figure out who's going to end up walking away with that fight. The tide will turn, if it's going to turn, by round 3. Because I think Arman wins the first 2 rounds if he's able to get takedowns, which I think he'll be able to. Do I think that he'll be able to finish Topuria? I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. I don't know in terms of, like, I've seen his top position. He's got great top position. He's got good ground and pound, but as he gets tired, he rests his head down there in the chest. And that's a bad take in terms of, like, you're not doing a lot of damage. It's body, head. Judges now are not looking at that as being like a damaged position. Body, head is not working. And so I think for Arman Tsarukyan, he's going to have to stay busy. He's going to have to be able to go hard for the full 5 rounds. And can he do that against someone like Topuria? Topuria is very confident right now. He feels like at any moment, doesn't matter, round 3, 4, or 5, he can touch you on the chin and he'll put you to sleep, which he probably can. So when I'm looking at that fight, I really believe that if Arman doesn't get him out of there by round 3, I think you're going to see a very, very tough fight for Arman Tsarukyan by Topuria in rounds 4 and 5. Even by maybe midway through round 3, you'll start to see the tides turn, and you'll see Topuria start to put some combinations together, and the pressure, he's going to walk him down conservative. He's going to be very composed. He's going to touch. He's not going to load up. And then eventually he's going to land something clean. And how will Arman react to being sat on his butt? How will Arman react to being in trouble, being dropped, being hit, being, hit with some clean shots? How will he react? Will he wrestle? Will he throw himself into a guillotine? Will he put himself into positions where he can't, where he's too tired to defend submissions? How will he react in those type of situations? That's what I think that's what everyone wants to see. And how will Ilia Topuria react in being taken down over and over? And can he wrestle hard for a good 2 rounds and still have the same power and outputs in round 3, 4, and 5? There's so many questions that not just myself has, but I think a lot of the casual fans, as well as some of the media have, they want to know, like, can he defend takedowns well enough against someone like an Arman Tsarukyan? Can he fight off of his back? Can he get back to his feet, which I believe he can? That short of a body style, I mean, they pop back up to their feet pretty quick. It's hard to get hooks in on them. It's hard to control them from the top position. So all of those things, I think, are Ilia Topuria brings will give Arman Tsarukyan some problems. So it should be fun, but I mean, it's definitely one of those fights that sparks people interest and will actually get rid of a lot of the naysayers when it comes to Ilia Topuria. Justin Gaethje, I mean, it's going to be a fun fight. I believe someone's going to get knocked out. Don't know who, but I mean, I think a lot of people lean more towards Justin getting knocked out than Ilia Topuria, just because the run that Topuria is on, everyone's going to ride with the hot hand. That's what they're going to do. So that's where I'm at right now. I think it should be Arman Tsarukyan. I think the UFC is going to probably make it Arman Tsarukyan. I think Justin's going to either have to fight someone else or he can wait. I think that's what they're going to ask him to do. Either you wait or you fight someone else in the process to stay active. You figure it out. And I think Max moves, either he goes to Charles Oliveira, or if they do the BMF title, then they have him fight Dan Hooker. Those are the only two logical answers.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go. But before we move on, though, make sure you guys go to OnlyFans, subscribe to us there. We are live right now on OnlyFans, by the way. So if you guys have questions on the OnlyFans platform, we've got a couple thousand subscribers over there. Join us. We've been partnered with them for about 2 years. Great relationship we have with them. Hey, DJ Demetrius Johnson's got his podcast and his other content on there, as well as some of the other fighters. You got Chris Cyborg, you got Luke Rockhold, AJ McKee, a lot of the Jessica Pennant. There's a lot of female fighters on there as well. Check them out, figure it out. But hey, it's been a great partnership, I think, for a lot of MMA fighters. So if you want extra content available over there, check us out over at OnlyFans. We're the very first podcast they ever worked with and partnered with, and we're happy about that. So check us out. Let's go ahead and move on to some fight announcements, man. We got Dana White today announced Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Dave, let me get your input on this fight. What do you think? Because you're from across the pond, right? Is that what they call it? From across the pond. So what's your take on this fight? Both these guys are from that area over there in the UK market.
I mean, I just don't see how Tom doesn't win this fight, because I mean, Jones made it look easy. Everyone's saying Tom's the one that's going to put Jones out. I just don't see how Tom doesn't make it look easy. And maybe that's like really downplaying Gane's ability, but I just don't see it. Yeah,
everything that I've read lately has said Cyril Gane's been working a lot on his wrestling, working his way back up to his feet, learning how to stuff takedowns. I've heard fighters say that for years. They said, yeah, I've been working on my takedown defense, my cage takedown defense, my ability to get back up. And they go out there and they look the same. They look exactly the same. This whole notion, like you can't teach a grown man how to wrestle. There's a little truth to that, because the body doesn't move like it should, for a top level wrestler to learn. And so I think for Cyril Gane, he's gonna have a tough task in front of him on stopping the takedowns. Now, what I do know is that, like, when it comes down to like the explosiveness of like who's going to be more explosive, it's going to be very close. Tom is very explosive for his size and his body frame. Cyril Gane is very light on his feet and very athletic, good mobility, but he's not explosive. Like he's quick, he's got some snap on his punches and his kicks, but will that be enough to stop Tom Aspinall? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I know once the fight hits the ground, there's just different levels. And I think that Tom Aspinall is the better fighter on the ground. And on the feet, Cyril Gane's got to be very careful, because Tom's got power. And not that Cyril Gane doesn't have power, but Gane's also, I think Gane's got the slicker stand up, and he's got great lateral movement, and he mixes in his kicks and his punches very well. But outside of that, I think that Tom, he's got clean boxing. He hits pretty hard. And I think if he touches Cyril Gane's chin, it could put this fight out. So, and look, he doesn't even need to put him out. All he needs to do is get him in a little bit of trouble and make it easier to get the takedown. And the movement of Tom Aspinall and the ability to put the pressure in, bounce out, and the threat of the takedown is going to freeze Cyril Gane a little bit. And so I think that's what's going to be the answer for Tom Aspinall. Is like, look, all I have to do is threaten the takedown. I don't have to necessarily get it. And it's going to really freeze your striking long enough for me to get in deep enough on certain takedowns and be able to finish it. And once you get to the top position, will Gane be the same fighter after he gets taken down 1-2 times? If he does survive, how will he be going into the second round if he got taken down once or twice in the first round? And will he still be explosive? Will he be more hesitant in the second round after being taken down? Those are all questions that need to be answered, and they only get answered when we see them in the cage together. So we'll get those answers, I think, soon enough, man. I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm glad the heavyweight division is moving on from John Jones. I'm glad it's moving on and it's developing its own its own identity. You've got Tom Aspinall, you got Cyril Gane. Let's take a look at some of these other heavyweights. Let me see where we're
got it right here. Here we go.
Yeah, you got Sergey Pavlovich, you got Curtis Blades, you've got Cortez Acosta, you got Jalenton Almeida. That's a great fight. That fight really interests me because he's so big. And to watch the way that he threw around Curtis Blades in the wrestling, I was like, holy cow. And then he gassed out a little bit, but it was just the fact that he was able to take Curtis Blades down so easily and multiple times over and over, and do what he did. But I know that he ended up losing the fight, but it was still one of those situations where you see these guys fight, and I think I want to see the level of talent of these guys that are coming up. Cortez Acosta, Jelton Almeida, and Sergey Pavlovich now have a real authentic chance of getting to that title. Now, whether they can beat Tom Aspinall or not is to be seen. I think Tom's chances of running through this division are pretty high. You've got some guys, though, that are willing to possibly even, start making their way up there. But I mean, someone just fought, I believe. Somebody who just fought recently. I'm looking forward to
Derek Lewis.
Yeah, Derek Lewis. But no, I'm saying I'm looking forward to Taliesin Teixeira to see what he can do. I know he's coming off the knockout loss, right? And the quick finish by Derek Lewis. But I'm simply saying a big body frame like that, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. That was a big fight. Derek, anyone that gets touched by Derek on the chin is pretty much going to sleep. But I want to see what else he can do. Dave trying to hold in his yawn there. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. He's still young. He's got a long ways to go. I'm looking forward to that as well. So there's some guys. Now I know that there's a lot of guys in here that we've seen for multiple years, but I think they've always felt like, I can't make a run or I can't do this. You've got guys that are going to be making that run, and I'm looking forward to what the heavyweight can do now, what the heavyweight division can do now. So let's bring some excitement back to it. Let's talk about it. Let's do it, and I want to see it happen, man. I definitely want to see it happen.
And this fight's October 25th in Abu Dhabi, so it's UFC 321. So
surprising they didn't have it in the UK.
Yeah,
shocking.
I mean, close enough over there. That's close enough.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay.
We have another one for October 4th at UFC 320.
Okay, I guess my question is this October 4th. It's not the same day.
Yeah, not same
Where's
day.
this one at?
This one is T-Mobile Arena, so it's Vegas.
Oh, wow. You would have thought they would have had Ankalaev over there, and they would have had Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall here, but Alex Pereira is the bigger star, I think, out of all three of them. So I guess that does make a little bit of sense. Ankalaev, Pereira too. I mean, we're gonna see. All the talk was, Alex had some injuries in the first fight, and couldn't really work on the wrestling, and just was trying to basically get through the fight. I guess we're gonna find out. Look, he's been someone that stepped up on short notice and taken big money fights, and done it, and looked impressive and has got wins. He's, coming off this loss. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see any reason why he would lie about it. He's someone that's always stepped up and said, I'll fight. Really no excuses in this situation. Just said, hey, there was some injuries I was dealing with, and it affected the way that I was able to fight, and I want another chance. He's taken his fair time off. Let's see if it made a difference. Let's see what happens. And I think Ankalaev, for a first title defense, you've been training for Alex. You understand what he can do. You should only have been getting better between now and then, and knowing what he does. And that there was conversations back and forth that you were probably going to be fighting him for the automatic rematch. So nothing's really changed for you in your camps. It's going to be striking. It's going to be a little bit of wrestling to threaten the takedowns, but probably just try to keep it the way it is. Maybe add a little bit more takedowns than you did in the first fight, and threaten them a little bit just to keep Alex guessing and to open it up on the feet for you when you want those opportunities. But that's October 4th, Saturday, October 4th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. This is going to be a good fight. Don't expect it to be the same fight you saw the first time.
And then same night, we have Corey Sandhagen and Merab.
I love this fight. This is the fight I think everyone's been waiting for. Everyone thinks that Corey should have gotten the title shot a while back. And Merab is, on a tear right now. I think Merab is somebody that a lot of people have learned to love. They didn't like him. He wasn't, really like somebody that people caught on to. The whole waiting for his friend to fight and lose the title, in Aljamain Sterling, it kind of rubs people. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but it rubs some other people like, hey, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Dave trying to hold in his yawn again, and his face looking all distorted. But what I'm getting at though is I think Corey Sandhagen brings a different type of stand up. It's going to be a little bit like a Sean O'Malley type fight because they're both tall, long, lanky. But Sean learned a lot. I think not Sean, but Corey Sandhagen learned a lot from the Umar Nurmagomedov fight. is you can't go moving as much as Sean O'Malley did and expect to have cardios in round 3, 4, and 5 when you're fighting a 5-round fight. When someone's going to put pressure on you, you've got to learn to take the center of the cage. You got to let the fight come to you, and you've got to, and every opportunity you get, make sure that as they step in, you make them pay, whether it's a push kick up the middle to the face or to the gut, you know, an oblique kick or some sort of jab right in their face to stop their momentum from coming in. You've got to make them pay just a little bit. And just make them think about, okay, do I got to get feints? How do I close that distance without getting caught? Corey's been known for having amazing knees, and Merab tends to have a tendency to dip his head and duck straight into stuff. So I would look to see this fight, man. Merab is on a tear right now. I'm not going to count the champ out whatsoever, but this fight does interest me. I know it probably doesn't interest a lot of other people because we just saw the Sean O'Malley fight twice. We saw him beat Umar, and Umar brings better wrestling. But Sean is so slick. Or not Sean, but Corey Sandhagen's so slick on the feet, crafty on the feet, makes you think a lot, switches stances a lot. He's going to stand right in front of you. He's going to do little, small, subtle movements, some feints, and he's going to utilize his striking to get it done. I mean, that's the reality of it. Is like you're dealing with a different type of striker when you're dealing with Corey Sandhagen. He's crafty. He's smooth. I mean, he's one of the best strikers we've ever seen. I'll give you guys this little story. There was a 155-pounder out of AKA. Kyle Driscoll, and he went out there and was training out in Colorado at the time, and he stepped in there and he was sparring with some guys there, and he got done. He's like, yeah, man, this little dude, like on this little small guy, you know, it's like my height, you know, but this skinny guy, he's like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. And Kyle went out there and just started sparring with him. He's like, man, Corey just jacked me up. Didn't realize it was Corey Sandhagen because Corey wasn't in the UFC yet. And then all of a sudden, Corey ends up in the UFC. Like, man, that's the dude that was piecing me up, right? And you're a 155-pounder getting pieced up by a 135-pounder. And you're just like, man, this kid's good. He's so slick, so smooth. Glad to see him in the UFC because you weren't just getting your ass kicked by some random 135-pounder who never made it to the UFC. So now it makes everybody feel better. At least it made Kyle feel better that he wasn't just getting pieced up by some small guy. But Corey is slick, man. He's so good. He's so slick. And so I'm looking forward to this fight a lot. And I know that a lot of people are just kind of like, you know, we've seen him fight striker. He's going to take him down. He's going to troll him. Maybe. Possibility. But he may also catch a knee on the way in. He may also catch a push kick up the middle to the face on the way in. You know, you never know. He may catch an elbow, you know, trying to get on the legs against the fence. You never know. And Corey's crafty enough to go ahead and hit something from there. So I'm looking forward to that fight a lot. I know maybe not a lot of people are, but this dude is.
We have one more on this card. We have Prochazka versus Rountree Jr. Lightweight heavyweight bout.
I mean, this is what you should expect from, you know, a T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. It's a home game for the UFC. They're like, hey, if we're going to be in Vegas, we got to make sure that we stack it. We're going to have stacked cards in Las Vegas. Prochazka, Rountree, I think this is going to be a great fight. Can Prochazka get the takedown? On the feet, I mean, he's dangerous on the feet, but he leaves himself open a lot. And Khalil Rountree is somebody that will touch you, and I think it's going to be a great fight. Prochazka's crafty. He's all over the place. How does Khalil Rountree deal with the unorthodox style of Prochazka, like Yuri? Yuri's going to be just kind of spinning, doing like really random stuff, right? Will he get caught? Will Rountree get caught with a spinning back fist or a back elbow, some sort of funky kick or whatever it is? And so anytime you're dealing with Yuri, it's going to be like, okay, how do I fight this guy safe enough to where I don't get caught with something stupid and I end up on his fucking highlight reel? Or can I get to his chin in time to put him out? Because he's had, you know, some rough goes as of recently and getting knocked out, you know, and obviously by some of the best guys, you know, in Alex, you know, and some other fighters. Like it's a tough fight for any Yuri. It's just all over the place. And it's really hard to deal with Yuri. So, hey, if you guys are in our chats, man, go ahead and leave us some comments. And we want to get to you guys. If you guys are members, join them and sign up for our members on our YouTube channel. We have a $4.99 membership, which is our giveaways. So if you're a $4.99 member, we're going to be doing our giveaway here by the end of the month. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick somebody just randomly who hasn't won it yet that's been our member. So I'm going to pick them randomly to go ahead and mail them off a box of LMNT. Use the link down below in the descriptions. If you don't win the box of LMNT this month, go ahead and use that link down below in the descriptions, and they will send you a bonus package with every purchase. It's a hydration drink. I love this one. This is the watermelon right here, and it's absolutely fantastic. I drink about a half a can, maybe 3/4 of a can every night before bed. I sleep like a rock. So it definitely helps me get better sleep. I wake up a little bit more refreshed. Then I drink the other half the next morning before I get my workout and my run in. So make sure you guys use our link down below in the descriptions. Get that bonus package. and they will take care of you, man. On us, the Weigh In Podcast. And for those of you guys that are joining us a little bit late, Big John wasn't able to join us tonight because he's in Arizona, and the Wi-Fi in Arizona is trash. And so we'll give him a hard time on Saturday when we see him for ditching out us on Tuesday night. Let's go ahead and talk about UFC on ABC 9, which is going to be great because it's on ABC. I'm glad that they're have a couple random shows basically that's not on ESPN, my ESPN app. As of lately, since they announced that they're looking for a new partner or checking out, other partners, I feel like my ESPN app is just taking a shit watching this last pay-per-view seemed to be freezing a lot, especially during the last 2 or 3 fights. It's driving me crazy. So we'll see if there's any change on the ABC card, ABC 9. So Robert Whittaker versus RDR, Rainier de Ridder. I think this is a fantastic fight. I'm looking forward to this fight. De Ridder really taking a step up in competition because when I'm looking at the rankings here, you've got RDR. Let me get over here to these rankings here. There we go. You have to zoom them out because my eyes are so bad.
I got to zoom this out?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got RDR. You've got RDR right now. I think he's sitting at number 13. Huge step up, fighting Robert Whittaker at number 5. And is that what you have?
Yep, Whittaker at 5.
There you go. So you got RDR at number 13. You got Robert Whittaker at number 5. Huge step up. Whittaker, I believe, coming off of his loss, correct? I think this is what it is. Coming off his loss to Chimaev, I believe, is his last fight. And you've got Robert Whittaker, and you got RDR coming off of his impressive performance over Bo Nickel. And this is a huge step up, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he can make that jump. He's been the champion at 185 and at 205 in one. Didn't get the heavyweight title like I thought he did. I was under the illusion. I know he fought for the heavyweight title, and I think he lost to Malcolm, is who he lost to for the heavyweight title. But in him coming over to the UFC, getting out of his contract, he's definitely on a tear right now. What's he got? 4-fight win streak right now?
Yeah, four wins. Yeah, one outside the UFC.
Yeah, so him coming over, it's big, man. It's big for him to be here. His style is very unorthodox. He understands that his chin can take some shots in the process of getting to the clinch, trying to drag you down. And if he can't get you down, he's going to hit you with knees and elbows until you start to kind of fold a little bit and wilt under pressure. Once you wilt under pressure a little bit, he'll start to get the takedown, start threatening the guillotines, the chokes, the darces, the anacondas, everything that he can use his long body frame for. I mean, can you take a look? What is he like? 6'3"? I think he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Ridder? Yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah, 6'4". He's a tall, long, lanky style, which I've talked to you guys forever about that's his style, man. His style is about getting in close, using those long limbs, triangles, arm bars, darces, anacondas, front, rear naked chokes, all of those things. He can hit you with those ninja chokes from anywhere. So he's nasty. He's crazy. I like his style, that walk forward style, like whatever. You can't hurt me. I'm going to walk forward, close the distance, try to take you down. Robert Whittaker is going to try to stuff the takedowns. He's going to try to stay out of the clinch and try to land, the long range jab, the long range shots. And in that process, can de Ridder's chin hold up in that process? So this is going to be a good fight. At the middleweight division, I like this scenario. You're really trying to make a push for de Ridder. He's funny on the mic. He's got that style of like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want, say what I want. I like that. And Robert Whittaker needs to get back on the winning track. So this is a good fight for both of them, I think. We'll see. And the next fight?
Yep. Co-main here is Peter Yan and Marcus McGee.
Oh, that's going to be a good fight. I think people are counting out Marcus McGee, man. I think a lot of people are thinking that Marcus McGee is not going to be able to withstand the pressure or the boxing of Peter Yan. I think Marcus McGee is someone who's physically just really strong, really talented. He's going to be aggressive, push the pace, get into Peter Yan's face, make him fight a very uncomfortable fight. And when they're fighting that uncomfortable fight, Peter Yan's going to have to keep his back off the fence. He's going to have to try to work in his trips, something that we've seen, a lot of. I just saw a whole highlight reel of him on Instagram. I think just today or yesterday, of all the different types of foot sweeps he's hit against world-class guys, Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley. I mean, like he's hit it against so many top-level guys, and he's made it look easy. He's done it multiple times. I mean, the takedown he hit on Song Yadong was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's got some world-class like Sambo style, like foot sweeps and takedowns, without having to use a lot of energy. And I like that style of takedown because as a fighter, I was pretty lazy when it came down to takedowns as well. I wanted to do some sort of like foot sweep. I wanted to do some sort of inside trip. I wanted to do something that I felt like that wasn't taxing on my body, that I could push the pace on you, really get into the clinch. And in that clinch, I could elbow you really well. Well, I think that Marcus McGee is going to be able to press the fight to the fence, grind on him, try to hang on him, but can he withstand the boxing? Peter Yan can fight you in a phone booth. We've seen it before when he fought Uriah Faber. We've seen it before when he fought Jose Aldo. He gets into those clinches or like in that phone booth, and he's got the better boxing more so than almost anybody. So Peter Yan also too is really trying to stamp his name on like, hey, if I fight this fight, I'm doing you guys a favor. I should be pretty much next in line for a title shot after that. Like he's done everything he needs to do. I think that you're going to see Peter make a jump up, and you're going to have an opportunity to see that fight against Marcus McGee of him winning that fight. If he does win, he's going to get pushed up into being able to fight for the title here shortly. Bryce Mitchell making his debut at 135 pounds. And I got to be honest, I like this jump for him. And he's fighting someone who's wiry, but also has a tendency to cut a lot of weight and gets fatigued if you put the pressure on him as the fight goes on. So Said Nurmagomedov versus Bryce Mitchell. We're going to see these two guys get after it. Said being very like Taekwondo style stand-up, but can also wrestle, just not as, I don't think, as aggressive with the wrestling as Bryce Mitchell. In terms of submission-wise, I'm going to go with Bryce. I'm hoping, though, I didn't see, but I haven't looked. Is Bryce Mitchell still training, at the small gym in Arkansas? Did he make any changes at his camp? I think he needs to find a camp that he can, where there's kind of the iron sharpens iron. He needs to get himself around some other guys that can actually push him and really try to make him work. So this could be his debut at 135. Said is very, very fast, very quick. He flows really well, has a tendency to bounce around and move a lot. Bryce will not do that. Bryce will stand right in front of him. He'll throw his jab, then he'll try to close that distance, get to the wrestling, get the takedown, and get to the submission. I like Bryce Mitchell's chances in this fight, especially if he gets this fight to the ground or even gets it to the clinch. I like his chances in this fight. Where I get concerned is how will he be in rounds at the end of round 2 and then going into round 3? Will he still have the same cardio? Will still be able to push? Will he start to fatigue? Or will he be a better fighter? Sometimes, when you saw his body, he never had like a six-pack. He was, kind of carrying around a little bit of baby fat. And in that process, is he going to be able to keep pushing the pace to the point where we've seen Said Nurmagomedov get tired? We've seen him fatigue a little bit and against people that have pushed him into the late second round and into the third round. He slows down quite a bit and starts to wilt a little bit under pressure. So Bryce Mitchell has been known to be that guy of pushing that pace. He struggled against guys that had good wrestling and they could stop takedowns and then were pushing back on him, a la Ilia Topuria and other guys. So I think it's a great fight. I think it's a good matchup for Bryce Mitchell. I also think that it's a good opening fight for him to come into the bantamweight, and we're going to find out what he can do. I like this jump for him to see how he looks, and if it doesn't look good, then you always go back up to 145. Shara Bullet versus Marc-Andre Barrio. This is going to be a fun fight. This is going to be a really fun fight. Barrio is going to be tough, aggressive, going to come forward, and I think he's going to bring it to him, man. I think he's going to really try to bring the action to Magomedov, to Shara Bullet. He's going to say like, hey, can you continue to fight hard if I keep putting the pressure on you, wrestle you a little bit, clinch you a little bit, make it a dog dirty fight? I can't let you stay on the outside. I can't let you like pick and choose your shots. I can't let you just dance in front of me and, and just throw flashy kicks, and then try and outstrike me from the outside. Marc-Andre Barrio is going to press the pace. He's going to get right in his grill, try to land the big shot. And when he can't land the big shot, he's going to close that distance, get to the clinch, and make it a grimy, dirty fight. I like this fight, man. I really do like it because it could be a fan favorite fight of the night kind of position. One of those fighters, I think you're going to end up either Marc-Andre Barrio is going to end up being able to get to the clinch and make it dirty and maybe potentially catch him and knock him out, or ground and pound him out, or Shara Bullet's able to catch him coming in or hit him with something flashy, that spinning back fist or double spinning back fist, whatever it is. You're going to see something along those lines. So Nikita Krylov versus Guskov. Bogdan. Look at that big old head, man. That thing, how do you miss that thing? So this is gonna be a fun fight, man. Krylov is fun to watch. Guskov is someone who could take some shots. I think these two are gonna get in there and mix it up. Like they're kind of in this position where they've got to make some waves. And when you have two guys that they're talented, in the light heavyweight division, but no one's really talking about either one of them. So both of them need to make some waves. They need to win by knockout or submission. They need to go out there and have an impressive win to really put themselves on the radar, because I can't tell you, like no one's really talking about Krylov anymore like they were when he first came in to the UFC. And no one's talking about Guskov either in terms of when he came into the UFC. So Amanda Hebus versus Tabitha Ritchie. Fun fight, man. Amanda Hebus and Ritchie going to stand. They're a trade. Ritchie's going to stick on the outside, stick and move and have fun. A lot of movement, a lot of that stuff going on. And Hebus, She's got to get this win. She's got to get this win and start moving forward again. And Richie, same thing. They both need to make sure that they are making their way towards the title. They're both kind of taking steps back instead of making steps forward. And so I think this fight, it's a good fight. Is this fight opening the card? I think it is. Or it's the main event on the
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think it's the main event on the
prelims. Yeah.
It's the main event on the prelims. But look, it should be a fun fight. Hebus will stand, she will trade, she will walk down after, walk you down, try and land big strikes, and Richie and Tabitha Richie's gonna go ahead and just, the kicks, the movement, the style. Like I like both. I like this fight. It makes for a good fight. We're gonna go ahead and pass up on the rest of the prelim card on any of these fights. I'm gonna scroll on down and see, the Damone Blackshear and Davey Grant. This should be a fun fight to open up the prelims. You can take a look at that fight. Let me see what else. Oh, sorry, my man, Marcus Buchecha making his debut in the UFC against Martin Buday. The bottom line is Buday's got to keep this fight on the feet. Nothing he can do on the ground to Marcus Buchecha, to Buchecha. There's nothing he can do. He cannot withstand whatever Buchecha is going to do on the ground. But how does Buchecha handle the aggressive strikes from the ground? Will he panic? Will he be able to handle the elbows, the back elbows to the head, the spear elbows from the top, whatever it is in any type of position? If Buchecha ends up on bottom, Buday should probably just back out or land a couple hard strikes and see if he can put him out of there. If he can't, back out of the guard or back out of top position and get as far away from him as you can. Make him close that distance. Make Buchecha get tired trying to chase those takedowns, and then go ahead and it'll open up the striking later on as the fight goes on. You got something to say there, Dave? Yeah, take a look, man. Marcus Buchecha, I've trained with him several times. I was part of Team Checkmat for
Where's
years.
He coming over from?
He's coming over from one.
Okay.
But he's, he's part of Team Checkmat, really good jiu-jitsu guy, has a win over Hodger Gracie, also has a loss to Hodger Gracie, but, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in competition jiu-jitsu, but this is not competition jiu-jitsu. This is MMA. So when you start taking strikes, you start getting hit, by world-class guys on the ground, and Buday is tough. He's 15-2, whereas Buchecha's only got 6 fights. He's 5-1. So that's a big step up for him to fight someone with a lot more experience, but good on him. Should be fun. Alambayev and Ocha, Alambayev is just a fun fighter to watch. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to come forward. I'm looking forward to that fight as well. So check out some of the early prelims. There are some good fights on there. So Aslan is definitely just crazy and wild. He's going to come forward. Big shots, going to try to knock you out. That's what he does, and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight every single time he gets in the cage. That's what he does. He tries to just throw the big shots, try to get you out of there, and it should be fun. And you've got Salikov, who's all the spinning kicks, all the other stuff. And so can he avoid being taken down, or can he avoid, getting clipped on the way in? Salikov is just getting older. He's got 21-5, his record, but he is getting older. He does tend to slow down as the fight goes on, but he's explosive in the beginning of every round with some fast spinning kicks, punches, all of those things. So, Dave, what else you got for us, buddy? That's going to wrap up our UFC on ABC 9 for this talk. And for those of you guys that are just joining us, Big John couldn't join us tonight because he's having Wi-Fi problems in Arizona. He's on the road for the next month. So hopefully he gets his Wi-Fi stuff figured out as he travels across the United States.
Once he drop in this little wholesome moment, after Poirier's retirement, his daughter made him a belt. Best dad ever.
That's awesome. The BDE belt, baby. I mean, look, that is when I talked about Dustin this last weekend and the week leading up to his fight, it just really came down to there's not many fighters when they retire, when they walk away, that they're winning at life. They got a little extra cash in their pocket, they've got a family, all those things. But this guy seems to be extremely, and I believe he is extremely happy. His was married to his middle school sweetheart. They've been together since middle school, his wife, and he's got his daughter. I believe his wife is pregnant right now with their second child. He's winning a life. Like, he's got some businesses that, do well, probably not making him rich, but they're bringing in a little bit of income, and every little bit helps. He's having fun, man. He's got a great life. He is, to be honest. And I was having this conversation earlier with somebody. He is somebody that he walked away. He's not old. What is he, 36? He's not old. He could have fought for another year or two and cashed out. I mean, I think he made almost $4 million for this fight. So $3 million something, I think, is what I saw. So he could have cashed out another at least 2 more fights. Let's just say he made another, 7 or 8 million. He's 36 years old. So at that age, let's just say he fought till he was 38. 2 years, he could have 3, 4 more fights. 2 more fights a year, he could have made another 10 or $12 million easily. He chose to walk away with his health. He chose to walk away for his family. He chose to walk away to be there with his daughter. I mean, he talked about how I thought it was a great moment. I don't know if any of you guys saw this or heard it. Was he said, my daughter and I, we've already had conversations about what movie we're going to sit down and watch. What kind of popcorn we're going to have, and we're just going to sit and have popcorn and watch a movie together. And I'm going to barbecue. I mean, there's nothing better than that. You're literally living the American dream and you're winning at life. And the fact that his daughter made him a BDE belt and the best dad ever belt, I think it's absolutely amazing. I love it about him. I hope he does not come back, because I think everything was done perfectly. I hope he has a successful next chapter of his life, and I want nothing but the best for him. He is one of the best dudes I've ever been around, and everybody I've ever talked to has talked about how great he is. I have not met one person at American Top Team, one person that involved in the MMA community say that he's a jerk or he's a piece of shit or he's this. I've not met one person that has said that about him. He's a great dude through and through, family man, loves his family, loves his daughter, loves his wife, loves his mother, loves everything about his family and his life. I love that for him. I'm happy for him, and I hope he has an amazing next chapter. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everything goes, and I hope he ends up doing something huge, whether it's a bigger hot sauce company or whatever it is, maybe his own liquor. I don't know, whatever it is, something big. I'd like to see him continue to be big. So that's awesome for him. What else you got?
Speaking of walking away on his own terms, Ben Askren also walked out of the hospital today.
That's awesome. That was a great intro right there. Speaking of
good, eh?
walk away, well, to be honest, if you listen to the video, he can't walk yet. So his wife had to help him get into the car, has to help him probably get out. He's gonna have to help him, basically how to learn how to walk again. When you've been in a bed that long and your muscle atrophy, and basically your lungs, you're training these lungs to take to your body. So he's got a long way to go. He's survived, basically he's died 3 times or 4 times, on the table, and he's there now. I mean, like he's a quarter of the way there. And so to see him in the car ride home, happy, look at that smile. He's never been a very beautiful person, but he's always been fun, and the energy's always been great out of him. And so, and he'll even tell you, he's been funky. So I love it about him. He's a great guy. I've trained with him, wrestled with him a little bit here and there. I wouldn't say it was wrestling. He kind of just tooled me all over the mat. But he's absolutely a fantastic person. And so I'm glad that he's headed home with his family. Man, there's a lot of heartwarming stories this week. You got Dustin with his daughter and his family and him retiring. And you got Ben Askren heading home from the hospital after being in the hospital for a long period of time, getting new lungs, teaching himself how to breathe and cough and talk again. And now he's got to teach himself how to walk again. This is awesome that we're headed in the right direction in these areas. So I love it. I love this. I love to see it. What else you got?
Let's look at this last story here before we move on to a couple other things. But Patricio called for the fight with Aaron Pico after Pico's opponent, Evloev, fell out injured. And just curious on your thoughts here. Is that a fight you would want to see? Is it, is it a fight you want to see? And do you think Patricio should be stepping in this quick with? I mean, it sounds like it's not going to happen this weekend, right? Because he was calling for it to happen this weekend, so it sounds like that's not going to happen anyway. But if he can pull a quick turnaround, is that a fight you'd want to see?
Yeah, I think what he was doing is he was trying to slide himself into the Pico fight on the Chimaev and DDP card, because there's to be determined on the co-main event, which from what I understand, Evloev has like a family thing. He's not injured. I don't think he's injured. I think there was like a family event that came up that he couldn't miss or didn't want to miss. And so I think he asked if it could be pushed. And I think the UFC I think they opened up that position under DDP and Chimaev for the co-main event to have Aaron Pico and Evloev. Because let's be honest, Evloev, it kind of deserves to be fighting for the title. So I think a win over Aaron Pico, of somebody who can wrestle like Aaron Pico, who's got good boxing like Aaron Pico, can try to stuff these takedowns by Evloev, I think you're going to see that fight potentially slide in there. I like what Patricio's doing. Let's not sit around and say, like, look, everyone. And I read some of the comments. Patricio said, look, I want to make a run. And I want to get up to the top as fast as I can. And everyone's like, oh, you look like shit the last 2 fights. You look like trash. You turned the UFC into the PFL. I want you guys to know, I'm a big fan of Patricio, and I agree with you guys. He hasn't looked himself. He didn't look great in either one of his fights. But I'm going to be honest. Like, you're going to have to bring somebody to him to make him look, these guys respect him too much. Like, Yair Rodriguez was the number 1 or number 2 guy, and Patricio fought him. And Yair was even having a hard time closing the distance. They don't want to get hit by him. And you saw with Dan Ige. Dan Ige's never fought someone that cautiously. I've never seen Dan Ige fight someone that cautiously. He literally got hit, got clipped, got hurt a little bit, went down, came back up, and then tried to bring the action. In the third, it came up short. I liked both fighters, but in this situation, Patricio's 38 years old. He needs to get to the title as fast as possible if he's going to make a run. My thought process, and I even posted this video earlier today, it's like, who's next? I did it with my buddy Angelo and Bodetti, and we talked about it. I like the Arnold Allen fight for him to make a run at that title there, if he can do that. There's other guys that you can match him up against too. And everyone's like, oh, well, why would you give him that? He looked like shit. Because he's 38 years old. It's a sink or swim. He's probably making $500,000 every fight. So why not match him up and say, look, it's now or never. Let's give you the fight that motivates you. Let's give you these guys that we think if you need to make a title run, we're going to give you these guys. The Dan Ige fight was a good fight for him. It should have been a better fight. Both of them kind of under pressure were like, all right, well, they didn't perform. We've never seen Dan fight that way. And I've seen Patricio fight that way and being conservative. But I think in this position, it should have been a better fight. But I'm looking at the rankings now. Let me go ahead and revise these because Patricio's at number 11. You have guys that are ranked ahead of him that will be good matchups. Josh Emmett, stand-up banger right there. Okay, and he's ranked number 8. But I look at the fact that he's 38 years old. What are we doing? Have him fight someone like an Arnold Allen. Have him fight somebody up there. Maybe have him fight the loser of Diego Lopez and who's Diego Lopez fighting?
Is he fighting Yair?
No. He's fighting. I think he's fighting Brian Ortega. No, he just fought Brian Ortega. Who's Diego Lopez fighting?
I'm finding it right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Here we go. He's fighting Gene Silva.
Yeah, John Silva. I mean, like, maybe you have him fight. Maybe you have Patricio fight the loser of that fight, and that gives him a little boost up into the rankings. I mean, if you're paying him that amount of money, you don't want him fighting just guys that are on their way out. I mean, I also don't mind the Steve Garcia fight, but Steve Garcia is also someone who he's still a little bit younger. He's a fun fighter to watch. What happens if he gets knocked out by Patricio, who's a 38? You've kind of just ruined the guy's hype train. I like Steve Garcia a lot. So I would look at somebody and say, hey, let's put him against Josh Emmett. And if Josh Emmett's not available, I think Josh Emmett would be available for him. He loves that style of fight. You really don't got to worry about either guy really wrestling. They may wrestle a little bit, but they're both also at the age where they're like, I don't want to wrestle as much. Let's just stand and trade. And I like the Arnold Allen fight. You have a young guy who pushes the pace and will bring the action. But he's not an active fighter. If Arnold fought more often, I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what the situation and the scenario is with him, but I like that idea of him fighting, man. You got Aljo and who else? Aljo and Brian Ortega fighting, I think, in China. Yeah. So that's a fight to be had as well. The winner of that fight, you could fight the winner of that fight and try to move yourself up in the rankings. But the Diego Lopez fight and Patricio would be fun. It'd be a fun fight. The Arnold Allen and Patricio fight would be a fun fight. I think the Josh Emmett fight and Patricio is an extremely fun fight. But if I'm Patricio and I'm the UFC going, hey, I'm paying you this much money, and Patricio's going like, I'm 38. Please, I need to get this in now. I want to get it going. Like, whoever you can put me in there against the top competition and high up in the rankings so I could try to make this run, give me that guy. And so I think the UFC, I know they knew what they were doing. They put him against Yair. They knew that Patricio's going to have a hard time with someone who was long, was fast with the kicks, and could keep the range really well, and just was very explosive, like in terms of, a lot of spinning kicks, a lot of things that were unorthodox. And they knew that would give Patricio some problems because he's 38 years old. So I would like to see him fight someone who's going to stand in front of him and trade a little bit. That's Josh Emmett. That's Brian Ortega. I think Arnold Allen would stand in front of him a little bit too, maybe even try to wrestle a bit. But I think Arnold Allen would stand in front of him and trade. And Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is that guy as well. So those are guys that I'd like to see them fight. Jean Silva would be a fun fight too, all over the place, standing, kicking. He's just like a Yair, though, very flashy. Things are very unorthodox. Will give Patricio some problems, but I think there's fun fights to be had at from a 38-year-old and Patricio, but you got to match them up. And if you look at those, it'd be Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, and Diego Lopez. Those are the 3 fights that I could potentially see him getting matched up for.
See, with Patricio, what do you think it is? Do you think it's do you think he's coming out of UFC? He knows he's 38. He knows some of these guys are young and fast. What is it? You think he's not pulling the trigger the same way he would over in Bellator? Do you think it's like a combo of things like that, or do you think like it's just the jitters, or do you think it's just jitters and the jitters are lingering, or what do you think it is?
I think there is a lot of jitters involved because, like, hey, all these years I haven't fought here, and then coming here now, obviously later, and there's a lot of pressure for him to get his first win. He got his first win now; it's out of the way, and now he can just feel free. Like, okay, look, I beat somebody in the rankings. Now I can say I legit belong to be here. I believe here. I belong here. Yeah. And so that being said, now it's the rest of it should be smooth sailing. Also, anytime you switch from one promotion, which he was the pillar of Bellator, like he was the guy, him and Diego Lima and those, not Diego, not Diego Lima. Lima was all like they were like the pillars of the organization. So Patricio, his brother Patricky, like those guys, they ran that company. Like they were the ones really people tuned in to watch, along with Michael Chandler and Eddie Alvarez for a while. And I think for him to come over at 38, he really wants to prove that he still has a little bit left in the tank to show. And him beating somebody in the rankings, that makes him that verifies him in his mind. But he still has a lot of work to do. He's 38. He can still get it done. He's got power. And you saw when Dan got hit by him, that Dan's like, okay, this is a little bit different. There's power behind these punches. And Yair said the same thing. Like, man, he hits hard. And so that being said, a lot of these guys have seen him fight. Have seen him fight for a long time. And those guys in this weight class have heard about him. I mean, Dan Ige, I don't know if he ever worked with Patricio, but Henry Cejudo's managed by Ali. Dan Ige is managed by Ali. They know, like, and Henry Cejudo and Patricio train together a lot for a couple of years. And so I think they know they've heard stories. And that's the thing. Word gets around amongst gyms before it gets around out into the public. So if the fans have heard about it, these fighters are for sure heard about. Man, this guy's got power. He's got good wrestling. He's tough to take down. Like, you hear these things. And so that starts to affect how you approach your fight with that person. And you're hearing it from world-class fighters, people that will tell you, like, yeah, he definitely hits the hardest I've ever been hit by, or he moves really well, all of those things. So I think Dan has not, I've never seen Dan fight that way. It's not conservative. We've seen him do it with Barboza. We just walked in and just started throwing shots and clinching and dirty boxing him. And he didn't do that with Patricio. So what was it? Was it the power? Did he feel it? Well, I don't know. That's a question for Dan Ige. But I think if you're paying him this amount of money, you got to fight him against some of the top guys and make that run. And I think the Josh Emmett fight makes sense. The Brian Ortega or Arnold Allen fight makes sense, or the Diego Lopez fight makes sense. I know those guys are matched up, but if you're not going to give him the Aaron Pico fight, Arnold Allen should be available. I mean, he's not scheduled for anything, and I don't think he's fought in a while. It's been a long time. I think his last fight was Max Holloway. Max has fought, I think, 2 or 3 times since then. So he's either injured or something. I'm trying to remember who Arnold Allen fought last.
It was Giga in 2024, July of last year.
July of last year. So it's been a whole year. So he beat Giga. He lost to Max. Who else did he lose to?
Evloev.
Oh, Evloev, yeah. So, I mean, like those 2 fights. And I felt like he had an opportunity to beat Evloev. He was so concerned about the wrestling, he didn't do it. He kept thinking that he had to panic in those takedown situations. I think there's fights for Patricio there. I don't know what the UFC is going to do. I don't think they're high on him. He hasn't had 2 great performances. I don't think a lot of people are high on him. I just know what he's capable of. I think he's got the monkey off of his back now, getting that win. He's in the rankings in the UFC now, plus developing relationships and friendships, amongst the promotion. It's starting to feel like home a little bit. Your 3rd fight in coming up now. Next time you show up, everyone's like, hey, what's up, Pitbull? What's up, Pitbull? Like, it's going to become more like home. You've got to win now. Everyone's going to start being like, hey, they only remember what you've done last. They don't remember what you did the fight before. They remember you're only as good as your last fight. He's got to win now, and he's good. So now he can go ahead and start just feeling a little more comfortable in there and having great performances. So we'll see if that happens or not. But I would look for them to match him up against Josh Emmett or, someone somewhere near there. Josh Emmett or Arnold Allen, I could see them matching him up against. And hopefully he gets matched up soon because, like I said, time is not his friend. What else?
All right, we got a couple of questions here that I'll hop into just now. Give me a second. I've got to adjust everything tonight. Let's see here. There we go. All right, Alejandro Gutierrez. If Tom loses Ciro, I think he means 2-0. If Tom loses to Ciro, does that elevate John Jones?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I can't see why it wouldn't. It would make everyone feel like, John is obviously the better fighter. That's all just perception. Styles make matchup, and John has a high level of wrestling, grew up wrestling, big body frame, long body frame, different style of wrestling, I think, than Tom. And, we're going to see, though. We're going to see what happens. I think the movement of Cyril Gane is going to give Tom a little bit of an issue in the beginning. It just depends on how fast Tom Aspinall can close that distance and try to get into that clinch. Yeah, I mean, we've seen like he's got some power. So can he touch Cyril Gane? Do you want to spend too much time on the feet though and try to catch him? I don't think you do. I think you want to get right to the clinch, make him work, and get after him right away. Make him feel uncomfortable. See if he slows down. I don't think Cyril Gane has great cardio. I think after 1 or 2 takedowns, I mean, he got taken down by Francis Ngannou. And I think Tom is a better wrestler than Francis Ngannou. Now, physical size, I mean, they're, like Francis is just a fucking Greek god, built like a Greek god. So, I mean, I'm not sure about that, but in terms of physical strength and being able to force the takedown, I'm not sure how Tom is in that situation. Francis Ngannou is built like a brick shithouse. So I think anytime he grabs somebody, they just automatically fall down. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to, that does make me wonder is how will Cyril Gane's defense be in the wrestling department after he said he worked on it for so much? And, and can he get up off the bottom? Can he get up against someone like a Tom Aspinall who's big, athletic, explosive, all those things? So what else you got?
Over on OnlyFans, JW asks, if Topuria fights Justin Gaethje and beats him, doesn't that make Topuria's resume that much more impressive?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. I mean, I'm not saying that it wouldn't make but I think a lot of people right now are clamoring for the fight of him fighting a wrestler. How will he deal against a top level wrestler? And I think the Arman Tsarukyan fight, given the fact that he made weight as a backup fighter, that puts him in the position to go ahead and capitalize on getting his title shot. The UFC wanted to see, can you make the weight? Can you legit make 155, not 156, 155 to fight for the title? You have to make that weight to fight for the title. And so they wanted to make sure in the last fight he made the weight. And so I think they're going to end up going with Arman. It'll end up getting rid of all the naysayers of that Ilia Topuria is another Conor McGregor. They're giving him hand-fed fighters and they want to see him rise. They want to see all this stuff. The UFC doesn't give a shit. I mean, I think they've been done with that whole thing. Now they do tend to match up guys like Ilia who have or want a terror doing things and they're knocking dudes out. They're going to give them some more strikers to see if they can knock each other out. They don't, as long as someone's getting knocked out and they're getting pieced up and there's more action on the feet, they're going to lean that way. And I think that the Justin Gaethje fight is an extremely fun fight, but a lot of people have seen Justin Gaethje fight, for the title multiple times. Arman Tsarukyan, they have not seen fight for the title yet. And so I think that's just, that's another thing to add to this fight of like, hey, we haven't seen Arman fight for the title. We haven't seen him fight 5 rounds. Let's see him fight, against Ilia Topuria. Can he get takedowns? Can he wrestle for 5 rounds? Can he dominate Topuria? How does Topuria handle the wrestling? Is he the same fighter after he gets wrestled and taken down multiple times? Those are all questions that people want, not just me. A lot of casuals have talked about it, as well as some of the media. Like he keeps getting the opportunity to fight strikers. Well, let's see how he fights against someone who is a top level wrestler. What else?
Back over on YouTube, Alejandro Gutierrez. Max was asking for a BMF ranking. Who should be in it?
I mean, you would have to pull from all weight classes. I mean, I think this generation of fighters, there's not a lot of them in there. There's only a handful of guys that I would say could be put into that BMF. And if I went through a certain amount of them, I look at BMFs as people that will stand, trade toe to toe. I mean, obviously Pantoja is one of them, but you don't want the BMF title going to a title shot because then it stays with the champion the rest of it. Joshua Van, I put right up there. Brandon Moreno, I put right up there. Those two guys. Brandon Royval showed that he's got it in him in his last fight. I'd say that. I get into the bantamweight title. I mean, it really depends. Like, I wouldn't say there's not really, to me, Song Yadong, maybe, in that mix. That's pretty much about it, man. I mean, out of the bantamweights, no, that's no disrespect. That means that they're just fighting smart. They have a higher fight IQ than to go out there and try and be a bad motherfucker. They're out there trying to win the fight, not just trying to be a bad motherfucker. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, should they, since they do like performance of the night, fight of the night, should they do a BMF of the night, and then A, you get another bonus, and B, you start getting people like considering other people for the rankings for the BMF?
That might be something to do. That might be something.
Yeah.
A little fun. Like, cause now it does trigger up the conversation of guys that, of fighters, men or women, whatever it is, of them just being able to stand out there and like, hey, tonight's not going my way. I'm losing the striking. Let me just make this a dog fight and try to win that BMF title belt, or not that title, but the BMF bonus.
Yeah, bonus.
So like, why not? Like, I got to just let it all hang out and try to get that win. So I could see that. What else you got?
That'll do it for questions. I did want to ask, you were on Submission Radio this past weekend for the fights. What was your takeaways from over there with the guys?
I mean, I was able to join the Mac Life, and we had some great conversations. And like, I've done the show twice, I think, in the last probably week. It was fun, man. Like, I enjoyed being on the show with them, and it's fun to listen to the accent, the Aussie accent. But overall, like, it's been a great show. It's been fun. We the 318 talk and conversation was mainly around Dustin and and his retirement and the presentation he got and everything like that. I thought it was fantastic. They even talked a little bit about John Jones didn't even get a walkout or a presentation or anything. That's like, there was good conversation and great topic about it. And I love being on shows where the conversation just flows. You're not trying to like reach for things. You're not really trying to carry it yourself. And it was good to be on the show with them. So had a good time, man. Good. If you guys haven't checked it out, man, I was on there in the last, probably twice in the last. When did you see? When was the other show?
You did live, and it was one not live.
Okay.
Let's see. Did you do one? I don't know. Was it live? Did you do two lives?
Both live.
They're both live.
I believe.
That's 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
No, I was literally like a week apart. Yeah, literally a week apart. So
that one, I guess that one didn't publish.
I think I was right before the Dariush. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, no, that one's.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he does a whole button. That was before. It was after 317 and before 318.
Yeah,
we're in that mix somewhere in there. So.
Yeah, so it should have been right before one of these Dariush videos, but I only see the post show. Maybe they don't keep their pre-shows on there. I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, we had a good time. It was fun. I think I'll be joining him a lot more. And so it was good. We had a great time. So if you guys haven't checked it out, man, check it out. Check out their YouTube channel and their show. What'd you say?
Yeah, Submission Radio.
So check it all out, man. It's great. Also, to follow us, I started another channel called Bad Takes, where my buddy Angelo and I, we give our bad takes on some of the topics across the sport. And it's not mainly about fights. We do the Who's Next video. Most of the time that goes on our Weighing In podcast. We may move that back over to the Bad Takes channel, but we're having some fun with that. And so it's definitely different. He also owns a channel called We Want Picks, where they give you some of the best gambling choices and picks. He's got a bunch of other people there that give you some options. And so we're going to go ahead and start working with them a little bit on the We Want Picks side of it as well. So that's all. If that's going to wrap us up?
Yep.
Hey, make sure before we go, though, join us over on OnlyFans. Hit that like and subscribe button on our Weighing In channel. I want to thank you guys so much. Hit the bell and the thumbs up, because sometimes I'm going to be dropping some lives for you guys. And those will come randomly. But I believe I'll probably do another one the week of UFC 319. And we'll do it for them. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know Big John's not here today. You guys can blame him on Saturday. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Use the link down below in the descriptions for LMNT right here. It's available for you guys. And they will send you a bonus package with every purchase. And they've got a new flavor coming out. So make sure you guys check out their website to see when that new flavor drops. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a maroon and cream colored can. So I'm thinking maybe like an acai or like a blackberry or something along those lines. So if you guys like LMNT and you guys have gotten it through our link down below, we want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. And podcast Dave and I, we are signing out and want to say thank you guys again for tuning in. Until next time, see ya.